Hello there, it's Cassie. Welcome back for the second time today. I'm over on the Brutus Monroe blog and I'm making another Halloween card. Well, actually two today. This is my number 5 in my series, so if you haven't seen the others, head back to my channel and check those out. I am going to be using the Brutus Monroe Jeepers Creepers toner sheets. These are brand new to Brutus Monroe. They come in a pack of 4, so you get 2 of the clear toner sheets, and you also get 2 on white, and they're 8.5 by 11. And so Brutus Monroe teamed up with Decofoil to come up with these incredible patterns. Not only did they come up with these, but they also have some new foils out there. So if you have not heard that, I'm going to have the links down below. You're going to want to check those out because they're really cool colors. I think the new colors are gold, red, and orange. I'm going to use the orange today, and they're just cool. So it's not just a gold, and not just a red, not just an orange. They're really beautiful. So before I get started actually doing any of the foiling, I'm going to do some sponging onto my panels. So with those toner sheets, they're really nice. I'm going to take some Hickory Smoke Distress Ink, and I'm going to just sponge that all around the outside edge of this. You can do sponging on this, just like regular foilables that I've shown in the past. You can sponge on them, you can Copic color on them, and then you can even foil on them afterwards. But this is going to turn out really cool. I'm going to do some foiling on this using some different colors. So there, I just wanted to kind of darken up the edge a little bit. Next, I'm going to be sponging onto some Bristol smooth cardstock. I'm using that same Hickory Smoke all around the edges. And then I do try to go in with some milled lavender in the center. Now, my milled lavender, you're going to see I end up having all kinds of problems with it because I'm using a new sponge and it's also a very light color. I should have chosen something that was maybe a little bit darker. I mean, it ends up working out fine, but boy did I have to work to get it to do anything. So when you're having a brand new sponge like I have here, yeah, you're gonna end up with a workout. Let me just tell you that. My shoulder was sore when I was done. And so I'm just trying to get as much ink on there as possible. So the best blending I ever get is with sponges that are very well loved. So anytime I have to get out a new sponge, I cringe just a little because that means there's going to be work involved. So I'll just keep sponging around and working my best, and then I finally end up with a blend that I like, and then I go back in with that Hickory Smoke around the outside edges a little bit more. I'm going to spritz a little water on this because it is reactive, and then I'll let that sit for a minute or so and move on to the next part. And here is what they look like. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put one of the clear toner on top of the one piece, and then the other one's just going to be a standalone. So I'm using some of that brand new orange. This is the Decofoil Orange Sketch, and I'm also going to pull out some Purple Sketch and Green Sketch, which were released prior. They're just so pretty. The way they hit the light is incredible. And so I'm going to trim these pieces down. This is why I don't get rid of my scraps, because you can use those scraps on pieces like these. And then I'll put a little piece of purple there in the center for that one. Now I'm going to get ready to run these through my laminator. I use a Amazon Basics laminator, so it's a fairly inexpensive laminator, and I'm sorry that I'm not going to be able to put my laminator up on my table. I just don't have the room to be able to do that at this moment, and I don't have enough plugins over there. We live in an older home, so we just don't have the plugins. So I have to take it across the room to do so. But anyway, I'm lining up all those pieces. I have a piece of copy paper that I'm sticking this inside of, and then for better results, I suggest actually that you use a shim as well. I'm starting to learn that. But I'm going to close that up, and then I'm going to run that through my laminator about 3-4 times just to make sure it's good and warm. And while I'm waiting for that to cool down, I'll move on to the other sheet. So this one's the clear toner sheet, and I'm going to line up just the green and the purple on this one because I just thought the orange wouldn't look so great with that milled lavender background. So I'll line up those pieces. They're kind of slippery, so they keep moving all over the place. And I'm trimming down, and I'm keeping all of those little pieces because I plan to use those little pieces on something later, and I'll show you. So once I kind of get that sort of figured out, keeps shifting on me, I'll close it up, and then I'll take that over to my laminator and do the same thing with it. So once we're done here, we've let things cool and we'll peel back, and isn't that incredible? Oh my gosh, it's like magic every time. I think I could just do this over and over and over again. I love the foils, and these sketch foils are just awesome. And you could even use those other little pieces to put on stuff as well if you wanted to. And here's the other piece that I did, and that one turned out just as awesome. And you may have parts that stick to other places that they shouldn't, so you can kind of just brush that away lightly with your hand, or you can use like a soft brush of some sort, just something soft, a soft paintbrush, something along those lines. And then we're going to be ready to go, but that's how that's going to look sitting on top of there. So cool. Now moving on to the insides, I just have some white cardstock that I've trimmed down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I'm taking some 1/8 inch Scor-Tape, and I'm going to run that along the side, just 2 pieces, so it'll look like 2 stripes of adhesive. And so this is the Scor-Tape, and then I'm going to peel one of those back after I trim off the excess. I don't want any of that excess sitting on there, so I'll just use my scissors to trim that down. And then I'll peel back just one, and this is the one that's going to go on the inside with the blue or the purple and the green. I'm just taking those scraps and I'm running that all along that edge, and it gives it a really organic feel. So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I kind of like that it's sketchy at the edges of it, and then it gives a really cool transition from one color to the next. So that's how I'm using up my scraps, and then you just rub away the excess. Wherever there isn't glue, it won't stick. And then we'll do it again after we've peeled off the other side. So wherever there's adhesive, it's just going to pull. You don't even have to push hard. It's going to pull that foil right off of that paper that it's on. And you end up with this just really neat, fun embellishment on the side. So you've kind of doctored up your inside without even, having to put in a whole lot of effort, and you used up a bunch of scraps, and who doesn't love using up scraps, right? So very cool. I'll rub that down, and then I'll get ready to start adhering all this to the front of my card. So I did trim this down. It is about 4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. And in order to adhere this to the front of my card, I'm going to use some Ranger Multimedium Matte. I did forget to mention that on these toner sheets, there's a side that feels a little bit raised, where you can feel where the toner actually is, and then the other side is completely slick. You want to make sure that you're putting your foil on the side that you can feel the raised part. So, and here I'm just putting a little bit of glue behind that toner. I'm not putting it all over, it's not necessary. You just want to make sure that it's going to stick down fairly well. You don't need it to stick everywhere. And so that's all I'm really doing. And then I'll stick that down to my panel. Look at how cool that is. Oh, I love it. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere that to my card base, which is just some Raven cardstock by Brutus Monroe. And I have this card base as a top folding A2 size card. And when I stick my panel down, I'm going to stick it all the way to the far right so that I have like a little black border on the left hand side. And then I'll adhere that other piece to the inside. So my inside piece is ready to go on my inside. And once I get that centered down pretty well, I'm going to go on and I'm going to use these Tim Holtz Small Talk Chit Chat stickers. I've used these once before, but I just think these are fun. And this one says, "I smell old people. Oh wait, that's you. Happy birthday." I just thought it was kind of fitting with the little skulls on the front. So this is kind of like a Halloween-ish, birthday card. So if you know somebody who has a Halloween birthday, this would be perfect. And then I will move on to the second card. I just did it basically the same way. For a final bit of embellishment, I'm going to use the Nuvo glitter drops in the color Lilac Whisper. I'm just putting 3 drops on the upper left and 3 drops on the other side of that sentiment, and then I'll do the same on the other card. I love the sentiment on that first card that says, "I'd like to announce I have no idea what I'm doing." Sounds like my theme for life. Just going with it, man. Just going with it. And anyway, so here we are. These are the cards all finished up. Kind of like how these turned out. So if you liked these cards, I would love it if you hit the like button, and I would love it if you subscribed if you haven't already done so. I'll have everything that I used linked down below, and I'll even link to some of the other new Halloween toner sheets that you can get your hands on now in the Brutus Monroe store. But head back to the blog so you can take a look at what we've been up to. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by.